Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. Got a really cool video for you today. A Zoom interview with the guys at Viablue. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know I've been a customer of them for over a year with their vibration control, their cable elevators, and then they sent me some cables. And as I've gotten to know them better at shows, just gradually we've become really close to the point where they offered me a chance to become a dealer. They had already been offering bulk buy discounts to my WhatsApp group, but I wasn't part of any kind of compensation in that respect. But when they offered me a chance to become a dealer, I was a little bit torn because I already represent Blue Jeans Cable in terms of cable. But they only offer, I can only sell for Blue Jeans Cable this power cord and the octa-quad speaker cable. They've sold a ton of those, tons of people happy. These are great products. And like I've said, people that have Blue Jeans Cable, the name is not that sexy. Some people don't think it's sexy looking, but if you want to impress me, I get more impressed from people that have Blue Jeans Cable in their system than the super exotic mega dollar stuff. But the reality is, many people have asked me, hey, do you got anything besides Blue Jeans Cable for the other types of cables or accessories like vibration control and all that? Do you represent anybody? Do you sell any of that stuff? And what I started doing my vetting over this past year with all the products that Viablue offers, I couldn't find a better, period, accessory company that even carries all of these things, much less do them to the level that they have. Just to recap some of the things I use their bigger footers that are underneath my Geo Research and Extremes. And I even did measurements before and after these were under, and I did a video on that to show, even with a recording on my cell phone, it popped up in a spectrum analyzer, a small part that changed consistently. 3 times I did it. Certainly if I did a much more exotic testing, it probably would be even more dramatic. But one of the great things I found with these, as I talk about in the Zoom interview, is the wide, not too high. I don't like the ones that elevate the products too high. That adds another level of instability that people overlook. But the density of this and the cross section, especially with the XLO ones under my speakers, these have been one of my favorites. That's what I started with. And they also offer cable elevators. I've featured these. Again, I wouldn't buy them for the performance benefit. In most cases, you won't hear a performance benefit, but in terms of cable management, and in the case where you do have power cables running parallel to signal cables, then this could actually add some improvement there. And then of course there's vibration control if you are worried about microphonics and cables into some of the more exotic reasons, static electricity on the floor. If you are more convinced of those things, then these obviously are a great option, because these will handle the heaviest of cords. I mean, these won't go anywhere. That's what I've been very impressed. Some of the most biggest names in the hobby offer these dinky little plastic things for their cable elevators, which don't look that great, to be honest. And number 2, don't really do the function that it's designed to do. So I've had videos on these, and then they've sent me their cables to kind of fill in the blanks where I don't have Blue Jeans, or for people that want a little bit sexier jacketing. This is their Cobra that is very unique to them. And they also have a whole suite of other jacketing options. And I've seen these at shows, and these are just phenomenal. I cannot believe how cool these look. These will compete. I mean, I get to see, I've even seen Odin Gold's up for close. I would put the looks of their cables and the build quality up against anybody's. If you have a cost no object system and want to have something that's sexy just for jewelry purposes, guys, this is unbelievable. You'll see in the video we talk about it. They make everything from the connectors to even the screws. The quality of these and the amount. What we really talk about in the video is what's inside, because that's what I'm most impressed with, and getting to that level of performance that is up there with the very best. I've gone to in acoustic, and I've seen what the very best can do at the mega dollar price points. These are not mega dollars, and these would definitely be competitive. I'll even show you their power cord. Again, I still represent the Blue Jeans power cord, but if you do want different jacketing, different aesthetics, this thing is a beast. You can take a look at the connectors. Again, even the screws they make in-house. This isn't somebody just taking OEM wire, going in there, ordering a jacketing, and then putting Furatech connectors in the garage, marking it up 10 times, and telling you it's the, it's the bee's knees. This is a company that does everything in-house. And one of the things that you're going to get to know is, as I talked about in my video, manufacturers to trust, is getting to know the people behind the brand. Not only the German engineering and pedigree facilities, all the things that they can do, the technology inside, but what impressed me most is all the people I represent, from Jeff at Blue Jeans Cable, Edgar, everybody at Viablue. These are top-notch people where I don't worry about the money involved. I would be doing these videos like I've been doing just as a happy customer. And that tells me that I'm going to feel good about selling these products, because it's not even about the money. It's about the fact that, yeah, I can supplement some form of income from selling these, but I'm going to be helping people out, not overspend. Even their USB cable, under $100 for most sizes, really much better connectors and quality, and then the sexy jacketing options. This has been the best accessory company I've found. And anecdotally, I've been looking at the shows. More and more companies are voluntarily choosing Viablue to partner with in their room. And that's a big anecdotal validation. And it's the companies I really respect that are choosing Viablue. So combined, it's one of those things, just like Blue Jeans Cable, the high quality, high value brands are what I want to present to you guys. And Viablue adds a little extra element to my now accessory line that I can offer you guys at discounts for my members. And then even if you're not a member of my channel, you want to buy these in North America, I can supply these for you. Actually, I think they didn't have any restrictions on me worldwide being able to sell these. So reach out to me if you're interested in learning more. But here's a Zoom interview I did with them so you can get that one-to-one, like I talked about in manufacturers you can trust. Having that direct access to the people behind the brand is very important to me, and I'm going to share that Zoom with you so you can get that comfort level. And if it resonates with you, these cables resonate with you, reach out to me. I'm happy to help you. I mean, they speak for themselves in terms of one of the best looking cables on the market, period. The quality of connectors. I mean, the exterior speaks for itself. I think combining it with talking about the geometry, design, anything that you guys feel like you're doing a little bit better or unique or, at a super high level, that's one of the things we can talk about. Okay.
And I brought, we're very transparent because we're really proud of what we developed. Lars and my brother, they developed all the cables. So I'm really happy to show you how the cable that you have in your hand looks from the inside,
That's awesome.
And basically, everyone who wants a piece like this can have one. We're very open, we're very transparent, and we're happy. And this is why I brought Lars in today. To explain to you why we use a gold foil here, why we use some air tubes there. Here's the NFS6 XLR that you actually just held in your hand, and you can see that we have multiple layers of shieldings, and they're all 100% shieldings. They surround the cables 100%. And even here, and I'm not sure if we can see this here, you can see basically a ring around with plastic with these air tubes. So we're using the air technology as a shielding as well. So if you want, I can show these and talk a little bit about the inside of our cables, if that's something.
I think actually that's a great start to the Zoom in general, because I think everything you guys do from the outside to the inside, I think, is superior to most any brand out there. And that's very rare. I mean, a lot of people can make a fancy looking cable, can get fancy jacketing or even fancy connectors and use other people's connectors. In fact, I think we should talk about the fact that you do kind of your own in everything, and the German engineering and pedigree and a little bit of history of why you guys are in business. But I guess what I wanted to start off with is, announcing to everybody that's watching or will be watching when we release this that I started as a customer of you guys after seeing your stuff at the shows. and being very impressed, and started off with the footers, and was very
Exactly.
impressed. I even did some videos on these. Now I actually have the bigger XLs under my speakers. Many people are fine with the smaller model, but I was even able to measure some differences because I heard a difference just in a frequency sweep after putting these under my Geo Research and Extremes. And it's a relatively simple design in terms of the, I guess it's a sorbethane on both sides and then a metal sandwich kind of thing. But one of the things two things I really liked about these is that this aluminum is super dense. This is not thin aluminum. This is, I mean, you hurt your knuckle. So the density of this and the weight, I think a lot of people make footers and they're worried about what's on top and then what's on the bottom, but they never pay attention to the actual strength and resonant property of the actual footer itself. This thing is super dense, and the XLs are even bigger. And the other thing that I noticed that people overlook, and I found works really good with footers, is having the large cross section. So many are very small and they raise it so much higher off the ground, and actually it makes it less stable and more susceptible to other types of vibration and just less stable. And plus, adding the height sometimes changes that tweeter distance to your head and angle and axis. So a lot of times yours, especially the XLs, are even wider. The large, smaller height, I think, is superior to most out there. I've had the isoacoustics. I've had other ones that are much taller. Nice products, but simple and dense and wide cross section was really impressive to me. And that's how I started with Viablue, as being a customer and doing some videos. And then as we got to know each other from shows, and you started helping out, offering deals to my membership section, and we were able to do some bulk purchases on these. And then as well, I got familiar with your cable elevators, both in Munich a couple of years ago and over a year ago. And these are extremely good. I mean, I've seen some of these big companies put out cable elevators that are as dinky as could be. They don't even support, you know, cables like this. And this is just an XLR. Like
heavier cables.
Yeah. And this thing isn't going anywhere. Again, super dense, and the ability to run multiple ones, different sizes, and you even have smaller ones if you need it. And I found one of the side benefits to one of these things that I've used it on power cords is, especially if I have a thick power cord with the big heavy connectors, right at the inlet of the IEC, you can put it at different heights, and it supports that IEC not hanging out.
Yeah, you don't want it to bend. And we used the soft pad from the absorbers technology. So the absorbers were there first. And then we said, okay, basically use the same technique, but it's a different material mix.
Oh, it is? Okay.
You know, so we have one material mix for the absorbers because, you know, especially the XL ones, they really, you know, you can put a heavy load on them. And with the cable lifters, we knew, you know, you would not put such a heavy load, but you don't want them to slide. You know, even if someone's moving equipment around, you just want them to be firmly in place. So we used the soft pads, but a little bit different of mixture.
Yeah, I mean, these aren't going anywhere. When these are on the ground or even carpet, you know, as you can tell, I'm moving my camera by just moving them. These aren't moving. It's very sturdy. And this is the new granite finish.
Exactly. Yes.
This is really cool looking. It's unique. There is a silver. And of course, in my system, I'm using the black. So I have these all throughout my system. And again, I have the bigger cable, the UFO pads. Don't have those to show you, but these come bigger. And then also you have footers. I know you had sent me a sample box for anybody that needs like cones. There's different types of cones. They're very attractive. So,
and we even have really large ones now. Look at these. I mean, these are the new extra QTC spikes. So if you're building a rack, you know, this would be the way to go. Obviously, as all Viablue products, they're available in black also. So I think this way you can see the size, and believe me, it's solid. It's very, very heavy, but it works the same way. You know, you can screw off the top. You can put it on your speaker or any device very easily, and then you have a perfect height adjustment as well. So
yeah, and just like all your products, the looks and the function are there, and that's what's rare. Some people go for all looks, or they do function, but it's not that sexy. And it brings me to the next point, which I do represent a cable brand already, Blue Jeans Cable, but it's only for their octa-quad speaker cable and their power cord. And people have constantly asked me two things. Well, what do you recommend other than them for the other cables? And they do make other cables, obviously, that they can sell you. I just can't sell it as a dealer. But some people, and I would say probably 80+% of audiophiles also look at cables for basically part of the aesthetics, part of the jewelry. It's exposed. Speaker cables, interconnect cables. It adds to the whole aesthetic vibe and pride of ownership. So having both the performance and the aesthetics is something I was looking at, and you guys sent me some demo cables, both speaker, and they are phenomenal. I'll have a video. I did some excerpts comparing to my previous model, which were river cables, really good cables, but just everything aesthetically right off the bat and build quality was far superior. And quite frankly, I've seen the most expensive cables out there. I mean, I've seen Odin Golds on more than one occasion. Those are six-figure cables. Quite honestly, for my taste, you know, your jacketing, your connectors, everything is just as good, if not better, on just purely, forget about the price points. But what I wanted to do is talk a little bit more, maybe about the connectors. I know we have a lot here. Maybe we can talk about the connectors and the geometry inside, and revisit some of the things you just showed with the internals, so that people get comfortable with, yeah, this is sexy. This is going to be the most badass looking cable they can buy, but also inside is taken care of as well at that same level.
Absolutely. I mean, when my brother started in 2001, you know, he was pretty frustrated. He was at a recording studio, and he was very frustrated because he had the perfect mix, and Lars was with him at the time. And then he changed cables, and all of a sudden, the mix he considered perfect wasn't so perfect anymore. So that's how he started. So we are building everything ourselves. So talking connectors, we not only design the connectors from the outside, what you can see, but even the contacts inside. Everything is engineered, constructed, designed, invented by us. And you know, Lars can probably pull apart a connector if we need to, and show you how it's done. Why is that? We assemble the cables ourselves here in Germany. So we want to make sure that you have perfect connections. With most cables, this means solder connections. So by designing the inside, the contacts, and doing it all ourselves, we can make sure that you have these perfect connections. And then obviously when you look at the outside, I mean, you already know all the connector range, because I've been showing these connectors at the shows. They all sort of look the same. You will immediately see, okay, this is a Viablue connector. And that was the idea, to have a series. So if someone purchased whatever kind of cable from us, it will fit with the others, you know, and they can make sure that it's the same quality because we designed it and we patented it, obviously.
Yeah, that's what I'm very impressed with. I mean, so many cable companies out there, and there's very few that can do everything in-house, and also the performance level as well. But, you know, taking other people's connectors, assembling it in a garage, marking it up, putting it on eBay, AudioGone, or whatever, that's very common. What I don't see is people like yourself really dedicating themselves to the product that they're making, doing everything in-house, controlling all the variables. That, look, cables on my list of priorities should be lower down from your equipment, your room, other things. But most people, at least people that follow me, have already taken care of those things. And at some point, you're going to want to take care of that nth degree, and cables, whether it's just the aesthetics, you want to be comfortable about performance. Because one thing I have seen with cables for sure making a difference, forget about the subjective jargon, but quality of the connector and shielding, two things I've seen. Phono cables, you know, one cable that was a $1 phono cable having a hum because the shielding wasn't good. And then other cases where the connector wears out over time and, you know, isn't secure, and you don't get that contact, and you have a performance issue. This is where the measurements, doesn't matter what the measurements and the quality of conductor is here. If everything's falling apart here and not really secure, you sabotage all that money you spent on the conductor. So you guys paying attention to these kind of things was very impressive to me. And this is why it's taken a year for me to, quote, become a dealer for you guys, getting to know you guys and really being impressed. But this was the final straw once I tried your cables, both speaker cables and these. These are just beautiful and reasonably priced too. I mean, this is not $100,000, you know, or even 5-figure ridiculous price points. So it checked all the boxes for me, that people that want, you know, a sexier looking cable, but also the performance that I can endorse, and the quality and the people behind it is something that I also, you know, want to give a shout out to. Is I would get to know the people behind any brand that I want to represent, and I'm happy to do that with you guys, top-notch people.